Do you have control over your life, your goals, your successes, and your struggles? Or are your friends, family, society, and belief systems pulling the strings in your life? Here's a question. Would you believe me if I told you that you would, not could, have the energy, desire, ability to easily manifest, attract, achieve, create, and live the life that you truly want? And it's easy with just a tiny little shift of focus? Probably not, but you will if you keep watching. Tell me in the comment section which one of these you really want, that you've tried to have, but you've not yet figured out how to get it. The relationship that has you speeding home to get back to, the career or business that you enjoy so much it actually doesn't feel like work, the one that is constantly growing and makes you enough money to never have to worry about bills or anything else, the confidence and belief in yourself and your goals, weight loss, muscle mass, toned body, your dream home, traveling all over the world, or just less stress and worry. In this video, I'm going to tell you how. I'm going to show you that your ability to achieve whatever you want is already inside of you. It's ready. It's been trying to get you to listen. I'm going to show you how to hear, trust, do, and attract all of the things that you want, because you are not only supposed to want them, you're supposed to have them. Stick around and listen close, even if all you want to do is prove to me that I'm full of crap, because honestly, that's just going to be fun for the both of us. Enjoy the video.
She knows. Oh, yeah. She knows. It's Manifested with Kjarlune Ray. Relationships, careers, money, family, whatever. She has all the tools you've been looking for. Ready to take charge? No sugarcoating here.
Hey guys, so in this first part that's going to be coming up here shortly, this video really is going to be in a couple of different parts. So you want to sort of sit down, get yourself a coffee, grab yourself a glass of wine, maybe a stiff drink, and really allow yourself to listen and hear everything that I'm going to be sharing. So in the next part that's coming up is the actual lesson, the lesson that I have taught about our soul, about other voices, about society, how to start or what to start listening and paying attention to. In the section after this lesson part, I'm going to go into the how to, okay? So I'm going to go into the sort of crux and how to start using what the lesson is talking about into your daily life to start attracting and creating, building, achieving everything that you want, that house, the relationship, the money, the business, the career. I'm going to show you in the last part the sort of step-by-step how-to of attracting and manifesting using the tool that the lesson is all about. Okay, so get comfy, pause if you need to, grab yourself a drink. It's worthwhile. I'm not going to lie. It's worthwhile, and it will start to shift, adjust, and grow your life in the way that your life is supposed to grow. I'm looking really forward to us sharing this time together. Hi, guys. I'm going to talk today about something that is going to sound crazy in the beginning. Okay. So you just sort of want to take a few moments and actually listen to this and sort of watch this whole thing to get the full grasp. I am often asked about intuition, inner guide, really, gut instinct, which is what this video is going to be about, because I want you to understand the advantages that you have that you don't realize at this exact moment that you have them. Because if you did realize what your inner intuitive advantage is in life, your life would be a lot fuller. Okay, you'd be attracting things that you want into your life. You'd be manifesting your outcomes. You'd be in your dream job. You'd be able to have that amazing relationship. You'd be where you want to be if you were using what you were born with. And people ask me all the time
if there's a difference between instinct and intuition. And there is. There's a huge difference between instinct and intuition. Okay. Intuition is what you pick up, feel, think, hear, see from other people and the universe. And instinct is your inner navigation system, it is your inner life navigation system. It's your computer in your car. Okay, so before I keep going, think about your cars today. I drive an expensive luxury vehicle because I love the computer system that's in my car. I don't have to think about anything. I don't have to worry about anything. I don't question whether I've got a flat tire. I don't question any of those things because my system in my car will tell me any of those things. So I don't have to think about them. Okay. And I treat life the same way. Now, I have a huge advantage that was a huge disadvantage for a big part of my life because my intuition is extremely strong. Um, and that was a real struggle because I wasn't supposed to believe what I could see, feel, and hear. So for me, and most people think that I have this huge advantage because I'm a clairvoyant. I can trust my instincts all the time. But again, intuition, instinct, not the same thing. Where I do have an advantage, which is what I'm going to talk to you guys today about, is that I listen and pay attention to my own senses versus public opinion. And what I mean by that, and it's something that I have an advantage in the sense that this isn't something I've had to work on. Whereas what I'm going to share with you guys, you sort of need to work on. My navigation system, my instinct, my inner knowledge, my soul is so old and so sort of prevalent that it forces its senses through. It forces me to feel, see, think, question. It forces me to not just blindly listen and follow through with what I've been told, and I've had that my whole life. Whereas many don't. Many are sort of programmed our whole lives to do what we're told we should do, not what we think we should do. To follow the rules that we're told are rules, not rules that we necessarily agree with. And I'm not talking about, the blatant ones, the thou shall not kill. I'm talking about, you know, go to school, get an education, then get a good job, then stay at your good job, and then be happy, be thankful for what you have, and don't seek out more. And relationships are hard, and you can't trust anyone. And I'm talking about belief systems that we take on from other people because our whole lives we're being taught through society to not listen to ourselves, to not listen to that inner voice inside of us that is really our guiding mechanism. And again, like I said, this might sound confusing in the beginning, but I promise you, I'm going somewhere, and it's somewhere great, because when you get this figured out, it's a game changer in your life. It's a game changer, and I'm giving it to you for free. So just keep watching and just hear what I'm talking about. And again, don't forget to like and subscribe. So for most of us, we spend our entire lives being told how we should think, what we should be looking for, what we should do, what we would be good at. Society is teaching us on every level, and especially over the last 4 years. No one should be able to argue with me about this. Society has dictated and communicated its views, its opinions, its rules, its regulations on each and every one of us since we were born. And that is done. And this is a totally different conversation, intentionally or unintentionally. That is done to control our movements moving forward. It is done to limit our instinct. But each and every one of us, you cannot be born, you cannot have life, you cannot have a personality without actually having a soul. And your soul is far more aware and far more experienced than you are. Your soul is your connection to the universe. Now, whether you choose to call it God, the universe, Kermit the Frog, that is your choice. I'm not telling you what to believe, and I'm certainly not going to push my belief systems on you because, unlike most Christians, I don't actually believe that that's my job. I believe my job is to follow what I believe to the absolute best of my ability so that when my time is up and I'm sitting in front of my maker, I can justifiably say that I did everything that I thought I was supposed to do, right? My job is my moral fiber, my structure. That's my relationship with my father. Total different conversation. So, your soul is your connection to whatever that divine is that you believe in, that universal knowledge, that God awareness, that um, contract and curriculum, everything that so many of us out there talk about, from Christians to Buddhists to everything in between. That is your connection to home, right? When you come here, you're here to learn. This is your education. This is your private school system. And when you're in the universe or heaven, when you're with your maker, whatever it is you want to refer to it as, that's your home. Okay. So it's like it's got an inner navigation system. I can use an example. If you were born in Russia, and as a child, by the time you were 2, you got moved to Canada. And you're surrounded in the Canadian culture. You're not surrounded in the Russian culture. You're surrounded in the Canadian culture outside of some language and stuff at home and some meals. You've been raised as a Canadian, not as a Russian. But you still have an infinite connection to Russia, to things Russian. You are instantly drawn to Russians or Russian communities, even if you don't know what they are, because you have this innate belonging that exists inside of you. And this is the same. When you're born, you have this innate belonging that sits inside of you. And that belonging is your connection to the universe. That belonging is your soul. And it has all of the information your brain doesn't have. It has all of the awareness of what you're supposed to experience in this life, the lessons, the goals, some of the struggles that you're going to need to go through. It has all of that information. It has your curriculum. When I'm talking to students and stuff, I talk about it like right before you come to Earth. It's like you go into a confessional booth. It's the only thing I can use an example because I was born Catholic. So you go into a confessional booth, but nobody's in there. There is no priest on the other side of the confessional booth. All that's there is your entire curriculum of everything you need to experience on a soul level, so you can grow and develop. And you pick and pluck and put it into your curriculum, and then you're born. Your soul has that knowledge. No one else has that knowledge. The universe, God, Kermit the Frog, your parents, nobody else has that knowledge. Your soul is the only thing that has that knowledge. Your mind doesn't have that knowledge. And your soul is constantly sending messages. It's sending feelings, it's sending thoughts, it's sending communications, it's sending physical triggers, it's shivers, it's sending you constant information your entire life. But everything around you, everything on the outside of you is telling you, teaching you, and training you not to listen to that. From when you were a child and you were told kids should be seen and not heard, do what you're told. Don't ask me questions because I said so. When your teacher would look at you and say, sit, sit still, stand forward, eyes ahead, do this page, no, not this page. We're everything around us from get-go decides, when we're hungry, when we're supposed to do something, how we're supposed to do something, what we're supposed to do, the way in fact we learn things. Everything around us is being programmed on the outside. And so because of that, we become numb over time to those inner feelings and messages. When you ignore something long enough, when you're not, you don't think about somebody for a long time, you forget things about them. Well, it's the same thing. If you're not paying attention to those senses, those messages that are coming from your soul, then you start to become desensitized to it. You start to become numb, if you will. And where that becomes a problem is that then you're not being guided by your own contract and your own curriculum. You're not being led in the direction. And so then because you're not being led by your own soul, you're going through remorse and you're feeling things like failure and loss and all of those things, all of those lessons, all of those what we think or refer to as mistakes that we do, we're doing them because we're not listening. We're not paying attention to our navigation system that is inside of us. We're not following our soul's guidance. We're following other people's guidance, right? We're following society's guidance. We get to the point where we're not even asking why anymore, or we're asking why for all the wrong things. And that's, when people talk about the secret, or they talk about manifestation, or they talk about attraction, or they talk about energy, that's your energy. That is your life force. That's not your body force. That's not how your body stays alive. That's how your soul, that's how you are you. And when you don't listen to you, when you don't trust that instinctual side of you, when you don't pay attention, when you ignore those tingles, or you ignore that pressure in the back of your neck, or that feeling of ringing, or that sense of something's not right, or when you're saying yes, when your insides are like, I don't want to do this, but you're saying yes anyways. That's you ignoring, not listening, not following your own navigation system, your own guiding force. That is your guiding force. And I hear people talk all the time about how they just can't trust themselves, but you don't understand that you can't trust yourself because you're not trusting yourself, not because you're not trustworthy. I'm going to say that again. You're not trusting yourself because you're not allowing yourself to trust yourself, not because you are untrustworthy, or not trustworthy, whatever the word is. Okay? You've told yourself in advance, before you've even tried, that you're going to fail, that you can't count on you. And that statement alone is ridiculous. You are the thing that you can count on the most, which means your inner voice, that inner knowing that's way older, smarter, and wiser than your mind is, that if you used it correctly, could completely control and navigate your mind. It could turn your mind into a super system. Your soul could do that if you would just allow yourself to pay attention to those senses. And that doesn't mean you got to leap right out. That doesn't mean you've got to just, if you get this sense that you should say no, just say no. It means you got to learn to go, I need you to give me a minute. I need to think about it. I need to think about it. And it's okay to go internally and ask yourself why. What is it that you're feeling? You know, m- it's starting to pay attention that makes it more obvious, because everything's in our perception, right? So I'm going to use an example that I use in my coaching a lot. Before you ever bought your car and you were out, before you chose that that was the car you were going to buy and you were out and about, you would never see that car. And then once you bought the car and you took possession of it, you see it everywhere. It's in every parking lot you go to. It's everywhere you drive. You notice your car right away, right? This is the same thing. It's now in your bubble. And how you start to get things into your bubble, how you start to get things into your perception, into your perspective, so you can start using things, is by starting to use them, right? Is by starting to do that without the trust yet, without the knowing yet, to give it a shot and see what happens. And here's the thing, you've given listening to the outside world many shots. You've accepted advice from people when the advice that they've given you before has let you down. You have, I guarantee, you have listened to people who didn't listen to you, who the last time you listened to it didn't go well, who have lied to you, who have given you reason not to trust them. But you're not trying to listen to the one person that to the one part of you that would never let you down. We're not talking about your mind. See, that's the other thing you gotta understand, your mind. It's your brain that has those angry conversations, that gives you crap, that treats you poorly, that emotionally abuses you. Your soul isn't emotion. Your mind is emotion. Your soul is knowledge. Your soul is power. Your soul is energy. It's awareness. I want you to think about times in your life when you have known exactly what you're doing at that moment. You wouldn't question yourself for a second. In those moments, would you let anybody else question you? No, because you know that's your soul. That's your soul. Your mind is the emotional, it's the game player, it's the part of your brain that records data constantly. It's the computer. It's recording data constantly. It's taking all this information that it's getting from the outside, and it's telling you that it's telling itself it's directive. It's truth. It's what you should do. It's how you should do it, right? It's your brain that's fighting. And it's fighting what's coming from your soul. And how you make that switch is you just take a beat. You just start by taking a beat. You just take a second when something's going on, no matter what it is. No matter what it is. If you're fighting with somebody, if you're in an argument with somebody, especially somebody that you love, and you're getting more and more frustrated, and more frazzled, instead of trying to get your point across or trying to be right, just take a beat. Just just stop the conversation. Just look at each other and say, I love you, but this isn't going to get us anywhere. Or just pause. Just pause and ask yourself, why am I doing this? What what am I really like what's really going on inside of me? Am I am I fighting because I'm mad at him or her, or am I fighting because I'm frustrated? Or just take a pause. In everything in your life, is that what I want to do? Don't just immediately answer because it's what you've always done. Take a pause. When you're having thoughts in your head of that you're failing or that you're screwing up, take a pause. Feel your inside. Did you really do what you did the way you wanted to? Or did you do it the way you were told to? In order to start trusting, you've got to start using. And in order for it to get stronger, you got to use it. It's like a muscle, right? You don't have it unless you work it out and you build it up. That is your soul. It is screaming to you as loud, if not louder, as any medium can ever pick up on spirits on the other side. It is screaming. And all you need to do is give yourself permission to start being aware of it. Because if you can do that, not only can you control your mind, you can control your mind, you can control your outcomes, you can control what you attract. And understand, you're always gonna fall down again, okay? Like, this is not a 24/7 thing. I listen to my instinct 98% of the time, and the 2% of the time that I don't listen to my instinct, my world falls to crap, just like I almost did, to crap, just like everybody else on this planet, right? It's the other 90% of the time that counts, and I don't beat myself up when I fall down because I've got a lifetime of people trying to teach me and show me, trying to silence my navigation system. And I don't mean that they're all doing it maliciously, because I don't mean that at all. I don't think that most people do things maliciously. They're doing what they've been taught. They're doing what they've been told. They're doing what they've been convinced to believe. I don't It's not personal. I think that's the difference, is it's not personal. And so because it's not personal, I also can't beat myself up for falling down once in a while. And I think that's the other difference, is really starting to treat yourself, your soul, with a little bit of grace. Will ease the pressure off in your mind, and that will allow you to gain control, right? Because that's really, at the end of the day, what we're looking for is the ability to have your own power and to own your power and to achieve and create the things that you are here to do. Because that's the other thing I want you to understand. you wouldn't have the desire, good or bad. And nobody likes it when I say that, but that's true, good or bad. You wouldn't have the desire, that pull. It's coming from your soul. It is in your curriculum. It is something you chose, whether you can believe it or remember it, or you can't, or you don't. That doesn't make it less real. That drive, that determination, that's your instinct, my friends. That is the voice that you should be listening to all of the time without the questioning whether you can do it, or wondering if you can do it, or questioning if it's even possible, because it's already in you. It's you wouldn't your soul wouldn't be sending the message to your mind, which wouldn't be thinking about it constantly, if it wasn't meant to unfold. And I got to tell you, when I learned that, it doesn't mean that things haven't gone wrong since I've learned that. But when I learned that, it took away, when I really sort of soaked that in and discovered that if I was driven to do it, good or bad, it was in my curriculum. I was meant to experience it. Didn't mean I was meant to like it. Didn't, and not all lessons are good lessons, not all rides are good rides. But when I was able to register and realize that if I was driven or drawn to do it, it was part of my curriculum. It was something that I was meant to experience. I let go. It was like all this sort of weight fell off of me. I apologize. My cat's trying to get in on the camera on the action. Like all of this weight of mine sort of fell off of me. And I got this overwhelming sort of calmness, if you will, because it was an experience. It went from being a trauma, something that I still held on to, and I still um, made decisions based on my fears and those traumas. Instead, it was like, no, it's okay. That's an experience. And it is amazing difference, what different place it owns in your mind, based on trauma versus experience, right? Experience is something, if you think about that, if you think about experience, right? And you're going to a job interview, it's what's your experience, right? No one's taught us experience is a bad thing. Everyone has taught us trauma is a bad thing, right? So even if you think trauma, like your emotions have to take on a, right? Whereas if you think experience, and that's the difference. It's not the situation didn't change. The situation never changed. That still happened. Whether it's I'll give you an example, the curling iron getting put on my shoulder. Doesn't nothing's ever going to change that, or the um calling my mom and her picking me up, and her helping me in the tub while she's crying, because as she's trying to gently wash my hair is falling out. It's not It's never gonna change that event. That event is never gonna go away from me. What changed is how I view it, how I perceive it, because now I perceive it as an experience, and now I embrace it as it's such a great tool to have in my toolbox. I truly know how to survive. And so anytime I go to deal with anyone, first of all, I know it doesn't matter what's going on in my life. I know I can do it. That's sort of the first thing that's amazing. But the other thing that's really great about it is that there's sort of no hill I'm not prepared to climb. That's the difference by me seeing it as an experience. It's not something I use against me. It's not my failure. It's a badge. It's like being a Girl Scout. Like, it's just another badge, and I'm better for it, right? Like, that's where things change when you start to really pay attention to this soul. You start to control, you start to shift in your perceptions, and you gain control over your mind versus your mind gaining control over you. And I really hope that you stayed with me this far. I really do. I hope that that you're okay with the fact that I communicate in a few different ways at the same time, because I sort of want to make sure that no matter who you are, I'm getting I'm getting you. I am understanding you. I'm communicating in a way that you grasp. I hope that you were able to stick around for that, because if you can, this is how I do my work. This is where I'm really going to be able to help you, right? So this video is about life. And again, like and subscribe. On Mondays, I'll be talking about love. On Wednesdays, I'll be talking about money. And on Fridays, I'll be talking about life. And this is life: how to start to take control over your mind. Ah,
Okay, so in that lesson, I talked all about your soul, and that your soul has all of the knowledge, all of the requirement, and all of the information that you need. Okay, we did just a super quick recap here. We talked about how your soul becomes silenced. We talked about why you're listening to, trusting, getting caught up in other things because of society, because of your family, because of your friends, because of your teachers, because of everybody. Okay, so now we're going to talk about actually what to do about it. Okay, because I think the thing, I have studied law of attraction, manifestation. I'm a therapist, I'm a coach. I teach people how to do this all the time. But the first part that nobody seems to share is that if you don't silence the outside voices, you're silencing the inside voice. And if you're silencing the inside voice, you don't actually know what to do. You get exhausted, you get overwhelmed by the energy that's surrounding you, from everybody else's opinions, from what society says you should do, how you should do it, why you should do it, where you should do it, what you should do. Okay. We get so caught up. And so when we think about the things that are holding us back, right, and I'm going to sort of take them step by step. So, you know, society, parents, everybody tells us you go to school, you get a job. Okay, you be thankful to have that job. How many times have you heard out there that work is hard to find? That you should be thankful, that you should be loyal to the company that, frankly, will fire you at a moment's notice if it benefits their bottom line. Okay, you get told that you need to have more education, that you can't level up and get the promotions and achieve the goals and become the CEO of the company if you haven't gone and gotten 3, 4, 5 degrees, whatever it is that everybody thinks is required for you to be able to do what you want to do. Right? That's work. Home, you get told you got to save, you got to put money away, you got to work hard and scrimp and put that down payment, and then you got to get qualified, and you got to buy the house, and then you go buy the house, and then you got to take your time, and then you got to spend 30 years paying it off, or 35 years or 25 years or whatever it is your mortgage is. Relationships. Okay, how many people do you see in your life that are actually living the kind of relationship that you want to be living? Right? The losing weight, building muscle mass. You should just accept where you are. You should just, eat well, work out, lower your calories in, calories out, exercise, movement. We're given these sort of lists, okay, of things. We've been told, poor you. Absolutely, you've been traumatized, you poor thing. You deserved so much better, instead of it being an experience and just something in your curriculum that actually makes you stronger and wiser. We've been taught by people, by life, by the environment here on earth, that it's your fault for those things that happened, right? And it's so not true. Just because it affects you doesn't actually make it about you, right? So we all understand the limitations that have been created all around us. But here's the thing that you got to understand. Okay, so this is the first thing that's so important. If you actually want to achieve those things, it's because you can. It's not because you're supposed to go to school for the next 5 years, unless you want to. It's not because it's just that, pie in the sky dream that everybody has. If you really want something in your life, if you really have that desire, it's because you're supposed to have it. So the only thing that's getting in the way is all of the voices, all of the information that society, people, family, teachers, have told you. Okay. I have clients that were told at 6 years old, at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old that they weren't smart enough. And so they never went after anything. They've sat here, they're in their 40s and 50s. They still believe that. They still believe that. So first, there is 1,000 different ways to achieve things. There is around, over, under, sideways, through. There is no limitation, right? We're taught everything about limitation. Money is not limited. If you don't believe me, look at the government. Okay. The government, I live in Canada. So the government's billions of dollars in debt. If you live in the States, the government's trillions of dollars in debt, yet they're still all managing to function and get their bills paid. So there is no limit to money. There is no restrictions except for the restrictions that we put on ourselves. And so how you start to change those restrictions is you choose, you decide, okay? You decide every day that you're going to trust you. You're going to trust your feelings. You're going to trust your knowing. You're just going to start moving forward without thinking so much, right? The worst thing that you have ever been taught is think everything through. Think before you speak, think before you do, think before you try, make sure you know and understand all the obstacles first, right? Know your limits. There is no limit, okay? You don't need to know your limit. There is no limit, okay? You don't have to think before you do anything because it doesn't matter. Okay, because if you're not thinking before you're doing, because doing is coming from your soul, then you're flowing. If you're just going for it, if you're making the conscious choice and decision every day to not fall into that mental trap, when you start getting frustrated or feeling sorry for yourself or get pissed off or feeling like somebody's hurting you, stop. You know what? That's not how I want to feel. That's not what I want to focus on. I have things to do. I have places to be. I have goals to achieve, and just start going towards them. Just start. I have a program that I created to reset myself, that my students are loving and starting, and it's called 90 Days to Change Your Life. And I'm not telling you about this so that you can just go jump and buy it. I'm telling you that the first step of what I have them do is I have them first think about 5 goals, okay? And you want to start small. Okay? Everybody talks about manifestation like you can go from being, how many times have you seen the videos, right? I had $500 in my pocket and within a month I had $100,000. Like, give me a break. You can absolutely, okay? I actually have a client of mine who went bankrupt, had $100 in his pocket in his bank account, started a business as a real estate investor with 0 down, and within a year became a millionaire. So it absolutely can happen. But it can't happen while you keep thinking about all the reasons that it can't happen, okay? So I don't want you to focus on timelines because the timelines are irrelevant. What we want you to do is we want you to think of 5 things, 5 goals that you want. And we're going to get you to start with smaller goals, okay? So if owning your dream home is an example, one of your goals is finding the home you're going to own and making it your goal to own it within a year, or 2 years, whatever it is. You know what? Don't even put the timeline on it. Just finding the home that you'll fall in love with. Start looking at, my dream home. So start looking at images and things that are exactly what you want your dream home to be. I want a new job in the next 90 days. I want to lose weight. So instead of it being lose weight, I want to lose inches in the next 90 days. Just, the 5 goals, and then simplify the 5 goals into what you believe could be feasible to achieve sort of over the next 3 months. And then spend every First you made your 5 goals. Sorry. First you made your 5 goals, and then you want to look at your 5 goals. And I remember because I had one of my students come back to me right away going, how am I supposed to figure out how to make my 5 goals happen? I'm like, watch the next video. Just watch the next video. Right? So after you've created your 5 goals, then you want to look at your 5 goals and you want to decide on 5 changes in your life to work towards those goals, right? Just to work towards those goals. Once you've laid out those 5 changes, turn them into your daily routine. Okay. Turn them into your daily structure. Make them your new daily routine. Okay. And over the process of the next sort of 3 months, really, because I'm going to be putting so much information out here on YouTube over the next 3 months while I'm working with all of my students on the 90 days to change your life. Work on those, use those, put those into your schedule. Okay. And then every morning, when you wake up, before you actually crawl out of bed, you're going to stop and you're going to tell yourself, I choose to be so grateful for anything that happens today and to be open to hear, understand, and know what to do. Okay. Stop, rewind if you need to. Do that every morning. Okay. Every night when you go to bed, have a small little conversation with yourself. Okay. If I was having the conversation with me, Kjarlune, there are so many things that you have trusted and listened to. You are your perfect guide. You can do this. It is inside of you to do. You wouldn't want it if you're not supposed to get it. Just start with that. And watch things start to change in your life. And either put in the comment section one thing that you'd really like to achieve, but you just have no idea, one goal that you would really like to do, but you just have no idea what action you should take to do it. And I'll see if I can get a chance to answer. That'll be my goal, to answer those questions. Maybe even give me, what I'd love to hear from you, what I'd love to see in the comment sections is the times that you have actually trusted yourself and followed through. That would be spectacular, because the truth is each and every one of us have done that. So give this a try. You've got nothing to lose, everything to gain, and I'm telling you, it will make a difference, because it will start to increase your energy. As it starts to increase your energy, it'll start to increase your trust in yourself. As it starts to increase your trust in yourself, you'll stop listening to other people. Because I just want to point out here really quickly, okay, most of everybody, okay, 95% of everybody, whether it be society, whether it be teachers, whether it be parents, whether it be family members that you're listening to, that you have taken on the belief system that what you want can't be done or shouldn't be done, or this is how you should do it. They're not living the life you want. They're not reaching the goals you want. Hell, they're not reaching their goals. Okay. So it's kind of like going to a homeless person to look for financial advice. I'm not judging homeless people. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay. If I was going to go to a homeless person, it would be to learn how to survive out in the streets in all weathers, not how do I make lots of money and be successful, right? That's just not how this works, right? So as you start to increase your energy by taking these little steps, you then start to increase your knowing, the belief inside of you, which means you then start to raise the volume of your soul, okay, which then leads you to start trying other things, because it also starts opening up opportunities. It also starts bringing these opportunities that, honestly, when we talk about the law of attraction, we say that the universe sort of brings us all of these different opportunities based on what we're thinking and feeling. And that's not necessarily the total truth. The total truth is that all of these opportunities, okay, all of the opportunities, 1,000 different directions, 1,000 different ways to go, are just layers. They're just sitting around you right now all the time. You just can't see them. It's like when you lose your keys, you just can't see them. Okay. You just can't see them because you're so focused on what you can't do, what you don't have, what isn't working, and what everyone's telling you should be doing and thinking, that you can't see all of the opportunities. But what happens when you start to make these little changes is that your sort of perspective, your perception, okay, your viewing space increases around you, gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And now all of these opportunities are presenting themselves. And then that's when you really get to trust your gut, because all of these things are happening. All of these, oh, I could go down that road, or oh, I could go down that road, or oh, I could do that, or oh, look at this. People start talking to you that have achieved these things, start talking to you about there's so many other ways to do it. There's so many other ways to do it. I have succeeded in my life in so many different ways, and I have not done any one of the things that I've achieved or succeeded in the way that anybody else does them. Legit, okay? I found my twin soul and got married to him sitting in my living room in my pajamas playing chess with somebody in Wisconsin. I took possession of our dream home. I manifested, hold that thought, I manifested somebody building our dream home exactly as I described it, even though I've never described it to them, building it, and then contacting me to tell me that they wanted to show it to me, took possession of it, bought it and took possession of it, sold our other house, and they took possession of it in 7 days. I didn't have to qualify. I didn't have to put a huge down payment. It cost us less to buy our dream home than it would have cost me to rent a condo. Legit. Okay. There is no limitation. I built this successful 5 to 6 figure a month income in an industry that people were still burning steaks on my front lawn. I became a radio personality without knowing anybody. I had a TV show pilot done for me and sold the TV show before I canceled it. It wasn't even in my realm of what I wanted to do. Okay. There is no limitation. I lost 260 pounds in 12 months. Now, granted, I've gained some of it back, which I'm working on now in my 90 days. I've gained about 70 or 80 of it, but I lost 260 pounds in 1 year, and it was legitimately, and I mean dead serious, the easiest thing I've ever done. And I didn't go to the gym 7 days a week, and I didn't lift weights, and I didn't not eat a freaking chocolate bar. Okay. I didn't do any of those things. And the weight melted off, and crazy. Okay. I'm going to add to that equation. It melted off so well, I actually wouldn't have needed plastic surgeries. Now, you tell me if you've ever seen a 500-pound person become a 200-pound person and not actually need plastic surgery for loose skin. Come on. Right? There is no limitation. There is no restriction, but the restriction that we're putting on top of ourselves instead of trusting the knowing and belief in our soul. So try those exercises. Give them a shot. You legitimately, okay, have nothing to lose. Do it to prove me wrong. You have nothing to lose. These next 3 months, they're going to happen anyway. They are going to happen anyway. And if you want my help, click on the link for the 90 days. Come and look at it. If you want my help, I'm here to help you. Okay. I look forward to all kinds of videos here on YouTube. I look forward to us embracing, changing, growing, thriving, achieving, and healing together. So I'm just going to start with, I love you tons, and I'll see you in the next video.